I was recently asked about why stress isn't always the bad guy and why we need to have cortisol to achieve our goals. So, we often talk about stress as a negative thing which must be avoided at all cost, but in reality, we do need cortisol to help motivate us and help us achieve our goals. So, while suffering from high levels of stress is certainly something we should all aim to prevent in our daily lives, we need to avoid the kind of black and white thinking that demonizes cortisol and dismisses it as being the bad guy. Instead, we should be looking at how to manage it as a necessary part of our daily life. As founder of Sharp Fit for Life, I work with busy professionals to help them become healthier, happier, more higher achieving, more active. And part of that is teaching them how to use the skills they have developed in their business and career to improve their lifestyle. So in your business, you recognize that you can't avoid taking risks altogether. You need to learn how to mitigate it, and at the same time, it's the same with us, with stress. Stress helps us to grow, and it's only a bad thing if you don't manage it. As a crucial part of this is understanding what cortisol is and how it can be used in a way that is positive. See, cortisol is a hormone which is released by your body's adrenal glands, which sits on top of your kidneys. We often refer to cortisol as the stress hormone, as our bodies release it when we're feeling stressed, but our bodies need cortisol to regulate blood pressure, reduce inflammation, increase the metabolism of glucose, or you could say to use more carbs, right? In short, while you don't want to adopt a lifestyle where your cortisol levels are always sky high, the goal is not to prevent this hormone from being released altogether. Low cortisol levels come with their own set of problems, including fatigue, low blood pressure, and a loss of appetite. Cortisol has a role to play. And in your day-to-day life, for example, when you wake up in the morning, you will experience a spike in cortisol, which will give you the energy you need to start your day. It's also released when you exercise, as well as when there is a stressful event, which can trigger your fight, flight, or freeze response. When cortisol is released, your body pulls resources away from digestion and repair and other bodily kind of function to give you the energy that you need in that moment. This could be for running away from something that's posing a threat, or for completing that workout in the gym. And we can all remember times when we faced a difficult challenge and had that occasion where the cortisol and adrenaline both work together. They kind of team up and help us get through that tricky situation. The important thing is to learn how to deal with the feelings of stress effectively, so you don't exist in a constant state of anxiety and high alert. When your stress levels make you feel high and you take action that moves your body away from being in fight or flight mode, which is a control part of your brain called the amygdala, your aim is to move into the rest and digest phase instead by stimulating your parasympathetic nervous system. You can do this in a number of ways, from cardio training or getting a walk outside in the fresh air to eating healthy snacks or just taking deep breaths in and out. Talking about what's going on can also be really useful, as it allows you to start bring these things into perspective so you can create new ideas. Sometimes even just accepting that stressful things happen and focusing on where you were on one of your issues can be enough to be able to resolve it and make you feel better. Some people have high cortisol levels as a result of medical condition or even the medication they're taking. However, for most people, elevated cortisol is simply by not getting enough rest, relaxation and sleep. Imagine a metaphorical bucket, right? And we've filled it with cortisol due to stress. When you rest, relax or sleep, you empty the bucket. And when you don't, you just keep filling the bucket up, and eventually it overflows and you become feeling totally overwhelmed. While cortisol itself is a necessary hormone, having either too much or too little will cause you to have problems. High cortisol levels can lead to weight gain, causing your body to store abdominal fat. When your cortisol levels are high, you may also find yourself craving sweet or fatty or salty foods, which tend to be more calorie dense and low in nutrients. It also activates muscle catabolism, which means that your muscle proteins will start to break down and get converted into available energy, ready to deal with the crisis at hand. When this extra energy ends up being unused, it's then stored back as body fat. So if you can imagine feeling very stressed while you're on a conference call, sitting at your desk, you will have no way of using that surge in available energy which your cortisol levels have created. The fight or flight response was originally intended to help humans fight off an enemy or run away from a predator, so this extra energy was crucial for survival. When it isn't used up in times of stress, it often ends up increasing your waistline instead. A big thank you for taking the time to listen to this. My name is Martin Sharp, and if you know anybody who would love to be able to benefit from knowing this, then please share there or tag them in this video. At Sharp Fit for Life, we're here to help busy professionals and their teams become even more healthier, happier and higher achieving in business and in life. We do this by coaching overwhelmed, overworked and overweight execs, business owners, entrepreneurs and consultants through the Business Body Blueprint, empowering them and their people through 6 proven success strategies that drive energy, improve focus and increase success in every area of their life. If you'd like to get in touch with us or to know more about the topic that we've talked about, then we'd love to hear from you. Simply email hello@sharpfitforlife.com or leave a comment below. Bye bye for now.